The median home in Bluffton is selling in the mid-500s right now, but that number alone does not tell you what life really costs here. It doesn't explain that your electric bill can be noticeably higher or lower depending on which power company serves your street. It doesn't tell you that two homes with the same price can have completely different HOA dues, insurance bills, making one affordable for your budget and the other not so much. And it definitely doesn't tell you how far your retirement dollars will actually stretch once you factor in taxes, healthcare, and your day-to-day living expenses. If you are serious about moving to Bluffton, you need to understand the whole picture before you sign anything. Hi, I'm Missy Yost with Coastward Realty, formerly the Yost Group, same team, elevated service, and I am going to walk you through the true cost of living here in Bluffton, South Carolina, so you can decide if this lifestyle fits your budget. Let's start with housing because that is the biggest line item for almost everybody. And as of right now, Bluffton's median price is roughly in the mid-500,000s. By the time you watch this, it could shift up a little bit or down a little bit, but it gives you a realistic starting point compared to many coastal areas. Now in California, New York, or parts of Florida, that amount is relatively low, but it is higher overall for South Carolina when you factor in other costs to live in this area. Now, the next big decision is new construction versus resale. New construction may have a slightly higher sticker price, but you're getting modern building standards, more efficient systems, and often a builder's warranty. Now, that can mean fewer surprises, expenses in the first few years, and with current unadvertised builder incentives, it could actually cost less than resale. Resale homes can look like a deal on paper, but if you've got an older roof, older HVAC, windows insulation, your true monthly costs may be a little bit higher. Not to mention insurance costs could be higher if your roof is a little bit older. Location is another lever you can pull because if you move just a little bit inland, Hardeeville or similar areas will have slightly lower costs and ongoing expenses such as insurance will be lower. But if you're truly looking for Lowcountry lifestyle, the bottom line is this: your purchase price is just the starting point. The real story is what that home costs every single month once you add in HOA, utilities, insurance, and taxes. If you're buying in Bluffton, Hardeeville, or Hilton Head, there is a good chance you are also looking at a community with an HOA. And not all HOA fees are created equal. Neighborhoods where dues are under $1,000 a year have very simple or no amenities. Some have just common area maintenance and an entrance. But on the other hand, we have ultra amenitized country club style communities where your dues can easily run into the thousands of dollars annually. Neither is right nor wrong. It's all about whether your lifestyle lines up with how you actually live. If you're not going to be using the golf course, multiple fitness centers, pools, clubhouse, that sort of thing, then it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to spend that on an HOA. But on the flip side, if you do want the pool, gym, social events, it can be a great value. A quick PSA here about buyer agency because it does matter with HOAs. The agent selling the house works for the seller. A buyer agent works for you. You need someone who's in your corner and can explain these documents, fees, everything that goes along with purchasing a house and only represents you. That's where Coastward comes in. We are here to protect your budget and your long-term interests. When you look at a community, don't just ask, what are the dues today? Ask, how often have they gone up? Are there any planned increases? Is there a healthy reserve fund? Have there been assessments in the past? You want to know because it's not unusual to see HOA fees creep up over time as amenities age and need repair. For retirees on a fixed income, that trend matters. Utilities, this is another one of those things people rarely think about until they move in, and then they're surprised. In our area, different parts of Bluffton are served by different electric providers. You have one that is a for-profit company like Dominion Energy that answers to shareholders, and one that is a co-op like Palmetto Electric, which is owned by the members, meaning its customers. Because the co-op is not trying to generate profit in the same way, a for-profit utility company will have higher fees. You notice it on your monthly bill, even if your usage is similar. And the thing is that you don't get to pick which one you can have because it does depend on where your home is located. We look at who provides the power as part of the true cost of the picture. Water, sewage, sometimes natural gas, and other pieces of the puzzle also go into that equation. Heating with all electric systems can be a little bit more expensive than the gas system. AC runs constantly. That also shows up on your bill. Now, newer homes have more efficient systems and better insulation. So over time, it probably will show a lot less than one of the resale homes that are not quite as updated. But people who are moving from older climates, they are very surprised that their energy bills actually go down because we don't have that heavy load on the furnaces to keep things warm in the wintertime. Now let's talk about property taxes and insurance, especially for retirees coming from higher tax states. South Carolina is generally known for its relatively low and friendly property taxes, especially if it's your primary residence. When you live here full-time and claim it as your property, you're taxed at a lower assessment ratio than a second home or investment property would be. But once you turn 65, you actually qualify for another exemption that can reduce your property bill about another $500. I'm not going to throw in specific percentages and more dollar amounts for the different counties, but just know that sitting down and understanding the Beaufort County Tax Office and the Jasper County Tax Office has different fee structures, and we can help you understand those and even give you a tax calculator to help you. A standard homeowner's policy here is also a little bit different. You may see a wind, hail, and named storm on your policy. Some areas are in high-risk flood zones, but that is more rare than not. Clients are surprised at how different premiums can be between a home in Bluffton and a similar home in Hardeeville. One is considered coastal, one is considered inland, even though they sit right next to each other. So let's talk about everyday living, groceries, and getting around. Now, most of your day-to-day shopping here is going to be at places like Publix, Kroger's, Aldi, and some specialty markets. They'll feel pretty similar to other parts of the Southeast. Some items, especially certain meats and specialty products, can be higher in this area, but fresh seafood is going to be lower because it's actually brought in usually right off the coast. Now, the bigger lifestyle factor is transportation. Bluffton is growing, and while we do not have public transportation in most parts or walkable parts, this is something you are going to have to take into consideration because you will need a car to get around. Some neighborhoods are more self-contained with golf carts and close-by services, and others absolutely require a car to get to groceries, healthcare, and social life. For most families, you're realistically looking at one or two vehicles plus gas, maintenance, tires, insurance, all of the normal car expenses. So when you're comparing Bluffton to other places, don't just think about the price of milk and eggs. Think about whether your daily life will require maintaining two vehicles or whether you can get down to one in the right neighborhood. Healthcare is a big one for retirees and for families with aging parents. The good news is that healthcare access in Bluffton is improving every year. We've seen urgent care centers, specialists, and medical offices buildings expanding in the all-around Bluffton with additional hospital projects and facilities in various stages of planning and construction. By the time you watch this, there may be a few new facilities open or projects that have moved further along. The overall trend is that you will no longer have to drive as far as you did once for many types of healthcare. You still want to review your insurance network and confirm that your preferred doctors and hospitals are in network. A lot of my clients on Medicare Advantage or supplements can find good options locally with the added bonus of larger medical centers in Savannah and Charleston with a driving distance that isn't really that far. The takeaway is this: healthcare here is a moving target in a good way. It's improving, it's expanding, and it's something we factor into your community and location choice if you have specific medical needs. Now, for some good news, especially if you're retiring here, South Carolina does not tax your Social Security benefits. For many retirees, that is huge. There's also additional tax breaks on other types of retirement income and very generous property tax exemptions available for disabled veterans. Rather than memorize every single rule, just know if you're 65 or older, a military retiree, or a veteran with any level of disability rating, there's a good chance you qualify for more breaks than you realize. So when I'm working with buyers who are retiring or relocating from higher tax states, we encourage them to sit down with a South Carolina-based tax professional to map out exactly how much further their retirement dollars can go here. Finally, let's touch on the little things that don't always make it into the online cost of living calculators. Things like occasional HOA special assessments when big projects come up, the cost of travel back and forth to see family if you're coming in from out of state, hobbies if you want to say yes to retirement, golf, boating, pickleball, leagues, art classes, dinners out, that sort of thing. So none of these individually make or break your move, but together they're what determine what Bluffton feels tight or very comfortable for you financially. So if Bluffton is affordable, many people say yes, it is, compared with other coastal markets. But in reality, it depends on what you're comparing it to and how strategic you are about where you want to buy, what community you choose, and how to structure your budget. The families and retirees who thrive here are the ones who come in with a clear understanding of the costs we just talked about. If you are serious about making a move here, don't figure this out alone. We help people like you navigate these decisions every single day. My team at Coastward can show you which communities give you the best value for your budget, where your ongoing costs will be higher or lower, and how to avoid the financial surprises that catch a lot of new residents off guard. Send us an email at the address right here on the screen, and let's schedule a time to talk about your move, so your numbers, your timeline. And before you go, picking the right price point is only half the battle. There is a lot of mistakes people make in their first year here that can make life in Bluffton way more stressful than it needs to be. So if you want to avoid these things, watch this next video where I walk you through the biggest mistakes people make when moving to Bluffton and how to avoid them. Once again, I'm Missy Yost, Coastward. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.